Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the WM32 Football podcast. And today I have been joined by somebody who is a very, very good friend of mine and actually gave me a break and a chance within coaching. So I've been delighted to announce I've been joined by Martin White from the Martin White Football Factory. Martin, fantastic to have you on with us today. Could you just give us a little bit of a background into the role and the sorts of things that you do for those that are listening?
Evening, Wes. Evening, all. Obviously, I'm the director and owner of Martin White Football Factory, as you mentioned. Basically, what we offer is school coaching. So in a day, we go in and do PE after school clubs, and then we run as part of a joint thing with someone called Ryan Hill, obviously a coach in Milton Keynes as well. We run A-Star Academy of Football. So that's like a development and pre-academy sort of coaching development program for those players who wanting to make the next step between grassroots and professional football, really, academy football. On top of that, we work closely with local clubs, particularly Woburn and Wavendon FC, who have been a partner of ours for 9 years now, and we go in on a bi-weekly basis and deliver coaching programs to their teams from under 7 all the way through to under 16. And like I say, that's one of our closest kind of supporters, really, Woburn. They've been with us the whole time. And then other than that, we do the other bits and pieces, so birthday parties, we do glow-in-the-dark football, normal birthday parties, holiday camps, which have grown bigger and bigger as the years have gone on. And literally anything football-wise that you can think of with children, we offer it, basically.
That's brilliant, and I think it's fantastic that the company offers, such a wide range of different coaching provisions. Is probably the right way to describe it, and things like that. And obviously, it's great to see that a grassroots side is getting on board with the stuff that's being done as well. And Martin, you've been coaching for quite a while now, but just give us a bit of an insight into your coaching journey so far.
Okay, so what are we in 2020? So I've been coaching for 13 to 14 years now. So I'm showing my age a little bit and my hairline as well, Wes. So I started, basically I was at school and I didn't know what options to take. And it was actually when Mum and Dad said, there's this football academy at Denby School. If you don't know what to do, go and do it. You love football. So they kind of pushed me into it, and I didn't really know what to do at that time. So my journey started then. Obviously, like everyone, I wanted to be the next Lionel Messi, the next Ronaldo. At that time, I wanted to be the next Steve Ball. I went to Denby, and it was only when I picked up an injury, I'd done the ligaments to my ankle, that I actually took a back seat, and Malcolm Lay, who was the tutor, asked me to take a warm-up. And that was my first real experience of coaching. Very nervous, sweaty palms, didn't know what to do. I set up like I was landing aeroplanes, so many cones. But that was my first experience, and then from there it kind of kicked on. So once we finished the academy that year, we obviously done our level 1 on the course, and Malcolm told me about this job at MK Dons as an apprentice. So I went to the MK Dons. It was the community, football in the community at that point, when I was at the hockey stadium, a long time ago. So went in there, got the job as a 2-year apprentice. My first day was actually putting season tickets in envelopes. That was my first day at work there, so nothing to do with coaching. And then my second day was actually moving from the hockey stadium to Stadium MK. And then I started obviously getting more into coaching, took my level 2 as part of my apprenticeship, completed my 2 years. I got offered a full-time coaching job, which I actually declined because I went for the events officer job, which was a step higher, and I actually got it, which obviously that was probably a really proud moment for myself at that time. Quite a young coach. That was in about 2009. So got that job. I spent 2 years as an events officer there, and then I decided to go to America for 5 months. I stayed in New Jersey. It was actually meant to be 9, but we can pick up on that later. But I only stayed for 5, and when I came back, I was part-time again at Don's, but something wasn't right, and I thought, you know what, I've got to go out on my own. So it was in 2011 that I decided to obviously do my White Football Factory, and that's kind of where it's taken me to today, really.
Yeah, no, brilliant, and quite a journey as well. And going from not necessarily knowing what you wanted to do as sort of a young sort of teenager, and then progressing right the way through to MK Dons, and then going out off to America, coming back, and then branching off on yourself. And I know you mentioned a few famous footballers there, like Messi and Ronaldo, and you also mentioned Steve Ball, and I know that you're a massive Wolves fan, so yeah, I can see the pull for you in wanting to be that superstar player. But was coaching something that you always anticipated or thought of doing, or was it purely by coincidence? You mentioned there that somebody had asked you to take a warm up once upon a time, but was it literally, like I say, pure coincidence that you went into coaching, or did you always have it in mind at some point?
To be honest, it's pure coincidence. Like I said, my mum and dad, they kind of pushed me into doing the football academy route, and I believe it or not, I wasn't very confident at that age. I wasn't really a confident person. I didn't like going into new environments, and then pushing me into that was quite big. And then obviously then being pushed into taking a warm up, because I've done it reluctantly, because I don't know if you met Malcolm. What a great bloke, a great coach. But if he tells you to do something, you do it. So I took the warm up, and then from there on, I kind of got a feel for it a little bit. But like you said, it was massively coincidence, because I would have never seen myself as a coach even when I was 15. I just wanted to play football or do something in football, and I didn't actually think about coaching at all.
No, it's interesting that you sort of say it's pure kind of coincidence, and actually, you didn't really sort of see yourself doing it, and here you are, as a business owner of a coaching company that I know they do other sports, but it's primarily football. So I think it's a great sort of explanation for anybody listening to that might be a bit unsure where they're going in their career right now, or maybe perhaps at a little bit of a crossroads, to go, well, actually, there are things out there for people to try their hand at, if you like, and hopefully they can make a success out of it. Martin, during your time coaching, you've shown your age already, so I don't want to go into that again. But what coaches have you looked up to, or do you look up to now?
Are we talking famous people, or are we talking on my journey? On my journey, yeah.
I'll let you have a bit of both.
Go on then. Okay. So personally, to begin with, it would be Malcolm at Denby giving me that first chance to kind of express myself as a coach. Like I said, if he told you to do it, you do it, and I kind of needed that at that time in my career, because I was only just starting out. I wasn't that confident, and he gave me that confidence. Then obviously, like I said, I went into MK Dons, and Mark Collier, couldn't speak highly enough of the guy. Just a lovely guy, can fit more Jaffa cakes in his mouth than anyone else I've seen. But what a guy, great football coach as well. I believe he's at Northampton now, or he might be back at MK Dons within the academy. Great coach, great person, and he just kind of spoke to you and made everything easy to understand. And that really helped me, obviously, when I was an apprentice at the club. And again, we worked closely when I was events officer there as well. So from a coaching point of view, they're my two main people I look up to. In the professional game, I've got to say Nuno now. One, because he's got a great beard, but two, the way he sets up his team is kind of similar to the way I've always liked to set up a team. I like the counter-attacking side of the game. I like quick, pacey players, and he utilises them very, very well. Going back further than that, you've got the obvious ones like obviously Pep Guardiola, Jose Mourinho when he was at Chelsea. So those managers as well, you kind of read their books, look at some of their stuff on the internet. It's brilliant.
No, excellent, and you know, I think there's quite a nice mix there of people that have helped you along your journey and perhaps shaped you as a coach, and then obviously, you know, the guys at the very, very top who, you know, we can always dream and aspire to want to reach those types of levels, and whatnot. And Martin, I'm sure this is a question that has popped up to you quite a lot throughout your time coaching, and it's been referred to as a bit of a buzzword, especially in the last few years or so. But if you could define your coaching philosophy, what would that be?
Working obviously in the more of the youth phase and the foundation phase. My mantra has always been short-term pain for long-term gain. So the approach is that what we do now might not get the instant success and might not get the results, but keep doing it well, keep doing it now, and over time, those performances and those results will be a lot better over the medium to longer term.
No, brilliant, and I think, you know, in coaching, sometimes we always think about, you know, the long term and the bigger picture and everything like that. But I think, you know, sometimes it's about, well, what's actually happening now in the here and now. So yeah, I know you've mentioned there that it might be a bit of pain in the short term for the gain in the long term. But, you know, it's I think sometimes coaches get a bit blinkered in the sense of just thinking about, you know, future and, you know, long-term planning all the time, whereas actually, you know, as I said, what is the here and now and what does that look like? So it might be like you said, that a player might have to suffer a little bit now, just to get to perhaps where they want to get to in the long term. So no, I quite like that. And you mentioned,
sorry mate, it's obviously when build playing philosophy for your team that obviously I've done with Woburn is we're now an under 14 team and we're relatively successful, but all of our hard work actually went in when they were under 8 and under 9. So we built the foundations then of a team that could obviously actively play out from the back, never let the ball go out the pitch. So wherever it was, can you keep it on the pitch? Dribbling in any area of the pitch, just getting them comfortable on the ball. And obviously parents and other coaches might look at it and say, oh, we beat you 5-6-0. You're doing the wrong things here. You're playing across your goal. And I've always said to people, it's short term. That's short term pain. Like, do this now and kids will be able to make their own decisions in a year, 2 years time to not do it there. And they'll be comfortable enough on the ball to do it anywhere else on the pitch. And then that's when you start seeing results in the future.
No, perfect. And actually, you've gone into a little bit there of probably what I was gonna ask you next in terms of playing styles. And you know, would you say then with that, you know, you've mentioned there, you know, little things such as playing out from the back. You like how Nuno sets Wolves up and counter attacks and everything like that. But would you say then with your Woburn side, you've got perhaps a defined way of playing, or, you know, does it depend on, you know, personnel and the group that you've got?
To be fair, anyone that watches us will say we've definitely got a defined way of playing. One thing that we need to learn to do, and I still need to learn to do to a coach, is to adapt. We always play out from the back. That is the main point. It's the main rule: play out from the back. But we do realise now you get to under 14s, they're going into under 15s now, and you can't always play from the back. There are times when you've got to go a bit longer, and it's up to us to show the players what that looks like. Now they've got that more understanding. We feel going forward we can do that. So it might be, if we can't go short, we might go over, we might go through, we might have to go beyond. So it's those trigger words that we'll be able to use now to obviously help them understand that. We've always struggled against teams that play a long ball. And sometimes, as a team, we then go long ball. And we know that's not our playing style, but that's the kids' way of maybe thinking, actually, we can't always play this way. Can we try and beat them at their game? But obviously, we're very, very strict on this is how we play, this is how we set up, can we do it? But we have now realised we do need to be a little bit more adaptable in certain scenarios. We have, with our players, we do look to sign particular sorts of players. A lot of people always scream out for you've got to have the big kid up front who's quick. You've got to have the big kid at the back who can head everything away. But that's not necessarily what we're looking for. We just look for are they intelligent? Are they good on the ball? Can they be creative? And more importantly, do they run? Do they put in the effort for the team as well?
That's brilliant. And I like the fact that even with your grassroots team at an under 14 level, you've implemented a defined way of playing, and that anybody that, as you mentioned, that anybody that has watched you will go, right, that's how a Martin White team plays, and things like that. But I think it's quite interesting as well when you mention that it's the kids that, you know, if they're playing against a team that perhaps goes a bit more direct, that they've then took it upon themselves to perhaps go a bit more direct, and there's not so much direction, if you like, coming from yourself. It's the players that are sort of working that out on the pitch, whether that works or not. Obviously, the question, you know, probably won't be answered. It might get answered in the respect that you might score, or, you know, create more chances, or, you know, have more final third entries. But actually, I like the fact that the kids are taking it upon themselves to almost come up with that plan B, and it's not always down to you or, you know, your other coaches to implement that within them. And Martin, You mentioned there as well that you like intelligent footballers, creative players, but those also that can work hard. Would you say then that those are the main sort of qualities that you would look for in a player if you was to sign them?
I think it's changed over the years and developed over the years. Obviously, a lot of players now are more athletic than they used to be. So everyone wants someone who's quick and strong. So you're all kind of going into the same pool of players, if you know what I mean. So first and foremost, when a child comes to train with us, a trial or whatever you want to call it, I don't like calling it a trial. I like to call it they're coming to train with us. When they're coming to train with us, I look to see how do they integrate with the group. So on a social level, how are they with the other boys? Obviously, they might be shy to begin with. Obviously, we give them more than 1 week. But are they shy? Are they kind to others? Do they shake hands? So are they respectful with each other? So we look at their character as a whole. And then we look at what happens if they make a mistake. How do they react to that? What's their effort like in training? If they put that effort in training, can they put the same effort in a game? So we look at those parts, and obviously we are looking to see if they're good players, because when you get to like under 15s and you've got a squad who compete in Division 1 year in, year out, you can't sign someone who's not on the technical level of the other boys. So we look at their technique. We look to see, well, obviously where they've played before, where they say they've played, how that fits into our system. So if we are playing out from the back, we need someone who's comfortable on the ball at the back to be able to play forward, and stuff like that. Obviously, we do look for big, strong, quick players as well. But as a coach, I've always preferred the more technical, small players, the more nimble players who can use both feet, who can dribble out tight areas, and obviously have the vision to see those kind of defence splitting passes.
Brilliant. Sounds like you're after a Ruben Neves in your team.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. Love it. You know, you've just mentioned that you like those small technical players and things like that. I know you have a love for Ruben Neves as well. But would you say you have a bias then towards a certain type of player? Like, would you prefer, say, a small, technical, nimble player to the more athletic type of player?
What's going to win you games? Like, to begin with, first and foremost, it's probably going to be the big, strong players, isn't it? Especially in youth football. So we look at it this season, like we have got technical small players, and sometimes there's like a foot and a half difference between our left back and their right winger. So every time that ball's in the air, we're never going to win it. And if it's a foot race, we're never going to win it. But just for me, like I said before, I think those technical players are what the futsal does. That's why there is futsal. Look at Messi. I know he's got the pace to go with it, but he's not big. He's not exactly strong. But the way he moves the ball is the way he plays football, and that's where he gets his success. But then you look on the other scale, you might have someone like Patrick Vieira. He was all about strength, pace. Like you have one or the other. But if you can have a team of a mix, you're gonna win everything, aren't you? Pretty much, you're going to be very successful. But as a player, I just like I said, the nice kids that want to put in the effort, that want to learn. If they're a learner, I'm more than happy to have them in my football team.
That's perfect. And I like the fact as well that you've recognised that perhaps, this is what I would like, but this is actually what my group and what they're in at the minute. That's the needs of the group as well, and the league that you're in, because as you've mentioned there, you've got some small players that are probably more technical, but then on a physical aspect they are perhaps getting outdone at times, and like you say, to perhaps have that mix of those that can battle a bit more, and are a bit more physical, and then obviously the technical and the technicians, and the players that produce the magic that can go and win you games. I quite like the fact that you look for that mix within your team a lot. And Martin, you are currently a UEFA B licensed coach at the moment. Are you looking to expand on that, gain more coaching qualifications, perhaps go up to UEFA A, or look down some scouting courses?
In the immediate future, right now, obviously I passed my UEFA B last year, so I'm a year into it. For what I do at the moment, the level I'm coaching at the moment, I don't really need to go higher. Obviously, we do our A-Star Academy, that's up to under 13s. We don't really need more than UEFA B for what we're doing there. My Woburn team, not so much either. But if I was ever going to, obviously, maybe look to go into some college coaching, or look at maybe a higher level coaching, I'd love to get on my UEFA A eventually. That's probably, I'd say, probably say a 7-year plan. I don't like rushing things. I'm never one of those that would go, right, I've got my UEFA B, I've got to go UEFA A, because I think it doesn't do the certificate justice. I think it's more than a certificate. Like the UEFA B to me was actually quite a big achievement, because I had a plan that I wanted to go on it. I didn't want to get it for certificate and say I'm a UEFA B coach. I wanted it to prove that I'm at that level and I'm ready to move on and crack on with what's going forward.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic, and I like the fact that you have recognised within your coaching journey so far at certain points when to move on, and the timing of when to move on and take that next step, because it's, some coaches might just get comfortable with the level that they're at and just sit on perhaps an FA level 2 and not want to progress and go any further, but equally, as you've mentioned there's coaches that will probably want to rush through and get all the qualifications done as quickly as possible, but without getting much experience and sort of time out there to sort of let the qualification almost digest, and you put into practice what you've learned over a sustained period of time.
There was a 10-year gap between my level 2 and my UEFA B. So quite a big gap. It probably shouldn't have been that big, but I never wanted to do it because I never felt the necessity to do it. I was coaching, my team then were under 12, under 13s. They'd only just gone into that youth phase, and I thought, I don't want to throw a load of new knowledge at them now. So yeah, I just kept it on the back burner. And when I thought I was ready and I thought my squad were ready, that's when I decided to go for it.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. Martin, just one here. What do you think could be done to help develop coaches further? And I know you get quite a few different coaches coming to you looking for work quite a lot. But what do you think could be done to help them develop that bit further?
I just think more coach education. I think the FA over the last few years have improved with the local FAs obviously offering more courses. How I got on my UEFA B at Beds FA. But I just think we need to see more FA mentors and coach mentors going around grassroots clubs and helping those coaches, because a lot of those coaches are level one, if that. Some of them have not even got qualification, just got their DBS, and they're there looking after basically our future England team, for example. And those kids aren't getting the knowledge and the training sessions they deserve. It's not the coach's fault. They just don't have that experience. They obviously work probably 9 till 5 in an office job and then go out and just do it for the love of the game. But there needs to be an understanding that these guys need help. So more coach education. There's not enough bodies, but every club should have a FA coach mentor who goes out and supports those coaches. Maybe, I don't know, one coach a month from the club, gives them a training plan, gives them some session plans to do, and just checks up on them both match day and obviously at training sessions. Obviously, that will cost a lot of money and it needs a lot of funding. But we could go on for this about hours, really, because the grassroots games is the one suffering, really.
Yeah, no, it's quite interesting as well that you mentioned mentoring. Is that something that perhaps you would like to do or have thought about doing? Obviously, given your connection with Woburn, especially, like I say, is that something that you've thought about?
Oh, 100%. It was actually something I was going to design a model for this season, ahead of next season, of how I can possibly help Woburn and obviously give them my proposal. Obviously, this whole pandemic's not really supported that. It's not really helping that cause, really. It's not just the Woburn coaches, it's my coaches as well. Like, obviously, Wes, you do some coaching for me, as does Connor, as does Joe. How can I support them a little bit more? But sometimes it becomes difficult when we're all coaching at the same time. So it's almost trying to step away in order to go out and say, right, I'm going to watch Connor today. I'm not going to rip him to shreds. But how can I support him? What little tips? How can I share my knowledge with him that will support him in the future? It's something I want to do. It's something I'm going to look into doing over the next, again, I've got to have a plan that's probably going to be a 2-year plan by the time we come out of this pandemic now, on how obviously I can support coaches in Milton Keynes and those that work for me as well.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. Brilliant answer that, Martin. And I like the fact that, again, there's a plan in place for you to be able to do that, and then there's a time frame that goes with that plan, and that you're ready to do it when the time is right. And whatnot. And I must say, having experience of working and doing some work for you, it's been a pleasure over the last sort of 6 years, I believe now or so.
On and off.
Yeah, on and off. Obviously, I've been and gone to university a couple of times as well with that. And Martin, just a final one from me. What advice would you give young coaches or young people that are perhaps looking to get into coaching?
Probably similar to what I did. If you love football, it's the next best thing. Obviously, you can go down a different route, hospitality or whatever at a football club. But if you love football and you want to get into something, coaching is the way to go, because you're not only still involved in the game yourself, but you're helping the next generation. So you can almost live their success for yourself. So if you want to do it, honestly, do it. It is very rewarding. There are lots of bumps in the road along the way, but I think that's what makes you a better coach and a better person. You've just got to have the confidence, be loud, be enthusiastic. It's one thing I've always said to any coach that's come to me, that I think the best thing that you can do as a coach to begin with is be loud, be clear, and be enthusiastic. Because as soon as you're loud, clear, and enthusiastic, the kids are on the side, they're listening, they're having fun, you'll enjoy it. And whenever you do a session, just think, if I was a kid in this session, would I enjoy it? If the answer is no, what can I do to change it? If the answer is yes, bang, you're buzzing. You're going to do well. But just go out, enjoy it, and just try your best.
No, it's brilliant. Perfect advice and whatnot. And like I say, you get quite a lot of young coaches coming to you to look for some work, and I can completely agree with your advice, and obviously having seen it all firsthand as well. I guess I've been one of the lucky ones to have seen it firsthand over the years and whatnot. Guys, we are unfortunately out of time. I'd love to be able to talk a little bit more, but people have got other things to be doing and whatnot these days. It just leaves me to thank Martin for taking his time out to chat to us for this podcast, and I just want to say a big personal thank you to Martin as well, because without him I wouldn't be in the position that I am today, and doing what I am doing myself. So thank you, Martin, for coming out and taking time out for us.
No problem. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Cheers. Thank you. Take care.
And you, mate. See ya.